Stay through my window, watch her as she passes by. Say to myself, you're such a lucky guy. To have a girl like her, truly a dream come true. Out of all the homies in the world, she belongs to you. Yeah, but it was just my imagination once again, running away with me. Said it was just my imagination running away with me. Yeah. Just my little homage to one of the greatest vocal groups of the 70s, the Mighty Temptations. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Top 40 Radio. And that was one of the highlights of my youth in Top 40 Radio. And I bring up Top 40 Radio because it was interesting because we don't really see it much anymore. And it was the one time on radio where things weren't segregated. You had any group on there, any singer or artist on there, if they cracked the top 40, they'd be on there. So you'd get, Al Green, followed by Elton John, followed by, what's a group, Journey, followed by Earth, Wind and Fire. So it was really kind of cool, and it opened you up to a wide spectrum of pop music. I mean, I always say that these things are pretty, there's not much difference between the styles really, but they segregated them like they were. But Top 40 was a type of radio format that didn't do that. So it was interesting, and I used to love the radio station we had out here was KFRC, and I remember listening to Dr. Don Rose. I don't even know if he's still around. I believe he got cancer, I believe. But he was the DJ, and I remember many nights falling asleep to whatever was on the radio at the time. And like I said, it could be what would be somebody else, and they had all kind of oddball, like one-hit wonders too. Like, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you because this is going to be my top 10 of what I remember. If I were to make a top 10 list, this would be what it would be for my remembrance of Top 40 Radio. So we're going to go from 10 to number 1, and they really don't follow any, from any order. They could be in any order, really. And there's some that I like better than others, but this was the list that I compiled. So we'll start from number 10. And while you're at it, press the subscribe button and press the little bell too, and that'll notify you when I have new content up. So go on and do that. And as well, I'm going to give my top 10, and I'd like you to maybe in the comment section give me your top 10 of what, if you were around the 70s, listen to radio, list what you would think your top 10 standout songs from the 70s would be for you. So, but here we'll start with number 10 here. So check it out. That was 1972, Let's Stay Together by Al Green, and can't go wrong with Al Green. I mean, he had, the 70s was his heyday, and he just had just a great string of hits that all were basic classics. They live on to this day. So, and that's what you want. But I remember vividly the production on his things were so kind of almost dry. Like they didn't have a lot of effects on them and everything, and it really had a certain real soulful sound to it that I forget his producer's name at the moment, but they worked well together and they gave the sound. Another song was called Simply Beautiful that I just love. I had a real decision to make between the two, you know. So anyway, coming in at number 9, we have a song that I remember falling asleep at night to. I remember it would spur my imagination if I had a crush on a girl or something like that. It really, what's the word? Ethereal. It had an ethereal quality to it. So check it out, number 9, 1975.
If only you believe like I believe, baby, like I believe, we get by. If only you believe, if only you believe in miracles, so would I.
Yeah, that was the Bay Area's own. Jefferson, well, was the Jefferson Airplane. Then they became the Jefferson Starship. By the time they did this song, it was the Jefferson Starship. And I used to just love it. Just like I said, it just would, if I had a crush on somebody, something, it just kind of made me just go off in my own thing. You know, a dorky kid, man. But music would always do that to me when I was young. So, but I still love that song. Just great, slick, and Jefferson Starship. So the next one, number 8, check it out. We'll talk about it.
These are the eyes that never knew how to smile till you came into my life. And these are the arms that long to lock you inside every day and every night.
Yeah, that was Al Wilson, 1973, Show and Tell. And the reason why I included that song is weird. It wasn't that I really loved the song so much. It just reminded me the power of music because whenever I hear that song, I almost get like a disturbed feeling. So I don't know what was going on. Like I said, I used to listen to the radio at night or, you know, so I think there's something that I identified with that song with that maybe wasn't cool. Maybe my folks were arguing a lot or something during that time or whatever. I don't know. But it just gives me kind of a weird feeling, you know. And music can do that. It kind of gives you an imprint of a time and place, you know. So it's powerful that way. So that's why I included that. So coming in at number 7, take a listen. Yeah, that's the great Kool and the Gang, 1975, Jungle Boogie. And that was one of the first, you know, I did a segment on the first single I ever bought. And Hollywood Swingin' was one. And I thought Jungle Boogie would be on the side, but I didn't know how singles worked at the time. But I got that eventually. So it was one of the first handful of songs that I bought myself, basically. Just funky as all get out. And that's also a reminder of how groups can progress in a way that's not really good, where it may be good financially. Kool and the Gang, the 70's, they were really kind of gritty and just really funky. And even like Summer Madness had a real, you know, just raw and again, ethereal quality to it, you know, kind of cerebral. But then they got too schlocky, man. The production got so clean and sanitized, and they had all the hits they wanted and got all the money, but I just couldn't listen to them anymore. They just got too, too cleansed. And it happened to, it happened to other groups too. It happened to Earth, Wind, and Fire. It happened to Chicago, the group. They were all raw groups when they had more grit to them when they started out, and then they got even the Doobie Brothers. That happened there too. Just got too schlocky for me, and it kind of lost me. But that's the same. But anyway, coming in at number 6, check it out.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. And lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped
Yeah, that's almost like a. I love that. That's Boston. More than a feeling. I know anybody of a certain age remembers that. It's almost like a perfect rock production. It was Tom Schultz, I think was his name, and he's kind of a genius of a guy. He actually did everything on that track, wrote it, and did it all himself except sing it. And he was a technical wizard too. He came up with I forget what it's called, the Rock Band or something for your guitar, and a number of other things. That just a real genius type of guy. And Boston was his brainchild, and he put the band together later. You know what I mean? It was all him in the beginning. So really impressive, and just a great song. That I don't know, like every little element is just almost perfect, and it's just really well done. So anyway, coming in at number 6 is a song, another rock anthem that was just everywhere during the summer of 1976. So anyway, take a listen.
Well, woke up this morning with a wine glass in my hand. Whose wine? What wine? Where the hell did I dine? Must have been a dream. I don't believe where I've been. Come on, let's do it again. Do you feel like I had you feel? Do you feel like I do?
Yeah, that was the great Peter Frampton from the Frampton Comes Alive album, and that album was just. I think before Thriller, that was like the greatest selling album of all time. And I think Saturday Night Fever came out after that, and that took over the spot. But just a huge. I just remember it just being almost like omnipresent everywhere when I was a kid, man. But I really love that song, and it was like really funky in its own kind of way. Just a cool, well done rock anthem, Jack. So, and I already told my Peter Frampton story about when I first didn't know who Hendrix was, and I kind of said he was the next Hendrix or something to my stepfather. He berated me, man. So I hadn't even heard Hendrix yet, so I was just talking out of the side of my neck, at that point. But here, check this on. This would be number 4, and this is just take a listen. Take a listen. It's like I don't care what anyone says. People rag on Casey and the Sunshine Band, and of course he wasn't big on lyrics, man. But boy, I mean, those songs were just like dance floor burners, man. I mean, he and his band was just smoking. and he played his part well, and it just paid off, man. Sometimes enough is said, and it just how it makes your body move is more important than anything else, And speaking of that, this is another one. Take a listen. This was the beginning of a movement, basically. Check it out.
Tear the roof off, we gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off, we gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off, we gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. How we want the funk.
That was just the incredible Parliament Funkadelic. I'm going to do a segment just on them because they were a massive influence on me when I was coming up. Just the quirkiest band, most interesting. And the songs were just smokers, man, and the whole. The whole kind of funk lore that George Clinton came up with, it just was fun, man. And like I said, I discovered on my own Funkadelic and Parliament, and it didn't dawn on me that they were the same group until I had both albums at home. I had Let's Take It to the Stage and Mothership Connection, and I was like, my God, these are the same people, man. And they were like alter egos of each other, two different sounds. One was like more of a rock with a lot of guitar up front. The other one was more synthesizer based, horns, like more traditional funk band, but they were funk, man. And going to see the shows in the 70s that fortunately I had a chance to do was just like a highlight, man. It just blew my head off, basically. So, but I'll get more into that later. The next one is of one of our greatest geniuses, and check it out, 1973.
A boy's born in hot time, Mississippi, surrounded by 4 walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city.
Yeah, just pretty heavy for top 40 radio at the time, and Stevie Wonder could do it, man. He could get away with almost anything at that point. He could write any number of styles. He'd just have classic ballads, then stuff like Living for the City, which, it has a song. It's almost like a Delta blues, and when he comes in, but he's doing it on Fender Rhodes, and that da 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 da, man, it's some stuff you just have never heard before. That was a melody, and the way he put it together was just, pulled it out of the mind of Stevie Wonder, and that was it. Some artists have that ability where you just hear something new, that you've never heard anywhere else. And Stevie obviously had that. That was from Inner Visions, and that's, it's a hard call. He had his whole classic period, man, was just so. He had just classic after classic, in starting like in 71 till about the end of the 70s. Really a classic run. But if I had to make a pick, I think Inner Visions would be my favorite album. Even like the album, the artwork, just everything fit. So anyway, coming in at number 1, and this probably is number 1 as far as just pop radio, and what I used to love about it. Check it out.
On a western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day. Lonely sailors pass the time away and talk about their homes. And there's a girl in this harbor town, and she works laying whiskey down. They say, Brandy, fetch another round. She serves them whiskey and wine.
Yeah,
They
that
say the
was
same
Brandon,
Brandon,
1972
you're a
Brandon.
fine girl.
And that song has just lasted forever, and with good reason. It's just the production is great, a great story. It's barkeep, a woman that's working in a pub in a seaport town, and the sailors come. It just really you could feel the vibe of the song. But yeah, just really love that song, man. And it's like it's kind of like mellow rock, but also soul at the same time. Just good, just, as I say, good stuff, good stuff. But anyway, this list was hard for me to come up with, obviously, because I could have added 10 more that would have been just as important. But I had to narrow it down. But please give me what would you consider your top 10, if you were to come off the top of your head, what would be the top 10 top 40 radio hits that you remember? So anyway, signing off, Phil Hennen in Mood City. And once again, love y'all, and love somebody else. And let's get through this really, really foul time. Just really, really bad, man. But we can do it. So signing off, love you. And subscribe, don't forget.